For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On a summer morning in 2010, 12-year-old Liam O'Rourke left the main trail of his scout group's merit badge hike in Hocking Hills, OH. He never returned. Despite an extensive search by hundreds of volunteers and specialized teams, Liam vanished without a trace in the rugged terrain of Rock House Gorge. For 9 agonizing years, his family and the entire community lived with crushing uncertainty, clinging to fragmented hopes. Then, in 2019, deep within a recess cave, a startling discovery was made. A folded topo map and an aluminum whistle, tucked behind a basalt-like slump. This is the complete investigation into what happened to Liam O'Rourke and the hidden secrets of Hocking Hills. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's continue. The ancient sandstone formations of Hocking Hills, Ohio, rise from verdant forests, carving out a landscape both breathtakingly beautiful and deceptively perilous. Within this rugged expanse lies the Rock House Gorge, a natural cathedral of rock, its towering cliffs, deep recesses, and hidden passages drawing countless visitors with promises of adventure and discovery. It was here, amidst this picturesque wilderness, that a seemingly routine outing would morph into an enduring mystery, forever altering the perception of this seemingly benign natural wonder. In the late spring of 2010, 12-year-old Liam O'Rourke, a tenderfoot scout brimming with the boundless enthusiasm characteristic of his age, joined his troop for a merit badge hike. Liam was known for his quiet curiosity and his earnest approach to scouting, embracing the outdoor skills and camaraderie the organization offered. The day began with clear skies and the cheerful chatter of young scouts eager to explore the unique geology of the Hocking Hills. Liam, like his peers, was equipped with the standard scout gear: a small backpack, a water bottle, a compass, and a whistle, prepared for a day of learning and exploration. The hike was intended to be a straightforward exercise in navigation and outdoor skills, a common activity for the local Boy Scout Council, designed to foster self-reliance and an appreciation for nature. However, as the group ventured deeper into the intricate network of trails and corridors within the Rock House Gorge, the inherent challenges of the terrain began to assert themselves. The troop, as often happens on such excursions, gradually splintered. Some scouts, more agile or simply more eager, moved ahead while others lingered, exploring fascinating rock formations and points of interest. Liam was last seen near a distinctive sandstone corridor, a narrow passage carved by millennia of water and wind erosion, its walls textured with the passage of time. The air, once still and warm, began to stir with an uncharacteristic chill, and a subtle shift in the light signaled an impending change in the weather. Within what seemed like moments, the first sporadic drops of rain began to fall, quickly escalating into a steady, drenching downpour. The sudden onset of rain, a common yet often underestimated occurrence in the region's microclimates, transformed the winding dirt trails into slick, treacherous paths, rapidly obscuring visibility and dampening the initial optimism of the hike. The once clear streams became churning rivulets, and the sound of the rain echoed ominously through the gorge. As the designated time for the troop to regroup at their rendezvous point approached, the initial lightheartedness of the outing gave way to a growing unease. Scoutmaster Regina Park, diligently counting heads, noticed Liam's absence. The challenging terrain, now slick and shrouded in the gathering gloom of the storm, amplified the apprehension. A child was missing, swallowed by a landscape that had only moments before appeared so welcoming. The initial calls for Liam, echoing through the rain-soaked gorge, yielded no response. The realization solidified into a grim certainty. 12-year-old Liam O'Rourke had vanished into the Hocking Hills wilderness. The immediate realization of Liam O'Rourke's disappearance galvanized Scoutmaster Regina Park into swift, decisive action. Her initial calls, once filled with hope, now echoed with urgency as she organized the remaining troop members and parent volunteers into preliminary search patterns, meticulously covering the areas Liam was last known to have been. Simultaneously, she contacted local authorities, initiating what would quickly become a massive search and rescue operation. Within hours, the serene wilderness of Hocking Hills transformed into a command center, bustling with emergency personnel. Professional search and rescue teams, equipped with specialized gear and expertise in navigating challenging terrains, descended upon the gorge. Among them was Torai Nguyen, a seasoned search dog handler, whose highly trained canine unit began systematically scent-tracking the last known trajectory of the missing scout, their sensitive noses meticulously working through the damp foliage and rain-slicked rocks. The scale of the effort was immense, involving hundreds of volunteers, park rangers, law enforcement officers, and trained professionals. Ground teams painstakingly combed every ravine, crevice, and rock shelter. Helicopters equipped with thermal imaging technology conducted aerial sweeps, their rotors thrumming ceaselessly above the dense canopy. Yet, the very landscape that attracted so many visitors now proved to be the searchers' most formidable adversary. The Hocking Hills, with its labyrinthine sandstone corridors, deep gorges, and countless recess caves, presented an intricate puzzle. Dense undergrowth obscured sightlines, and the recent rain had turned the ground treacherous, washing away potential footprints and scent trails. Every towering cliff face, every hidden alcove, every dark opening in the rock demanded thorough inspection, a task made agonizingly slow by the sheer ruggedness of the environment. As the initial hours stretched into days, and then weeks, the exhaustive ground and aerial searches yielded nothing. Hope, once a driving force, began to wane under the relentless weight of the wilderness's silence. Searchers pushed through exhaustion, driven by the desperate desire to find the 12-year-old scout. Yet the Hocking Hills seemed to have swallowed Liam O'Rourke without a trace. Despite the overwhelming resources deployed and the unwavering dedication of every individual involved, no dropped backpack, no stray compass, no broken branch, no single, definitive piece of physical evidence emerged to indicate Liam's path or his fate. The complete absence of any clue, any sign of struggle or passage, only deepened the mystery, leaving investigators and the community grappling with an unsettling void. The initial fervent search for Liam O'Rourke, a desperate outpouring of human effort against the implacable wilderness, eventually yielded to the inexorable passage of time. Weeks bled into months, and then into a year. The active search operations, once a hive of activity with hundreds of personnel and volunteers, gradually scaled back, then ceased altogether. The helicopters stopped their ceaseless patrols, the ground teams, their boots worn thin, returned to their lives, and the command center dismantled. The investigation, lacking any new leads or physical evidence, officially transitioned into a cold case. Liam O'Rourke's file, once a daily focus, moved from the active desk to the archives, a stark testament to an unsolved disappearance. For those directly touched by the tragedy, the shift from active search to cold case brought a new, agonizing form of suffering. Scoutmaster Regina Park, who had tirelessly coordinated efforts and held onto a sliver of hope with every passing day, found herself grappling with an overwhelming sense of helplessness and unresolved grief. The community, initially united in their urgent quest, slowly had to come to terms with the devastating reality that the Hocking Hills had not given up its secret. For Liam's family, the silence was deafening, the absence a constant, aching void. Every passing season, every holiday, every milestone Liam would have reached, served as a painful reminder of the son, brother, and friend who simply vanished. There were no answers, no closure, only a persistent, gnawing uncertainty that settled deep within their lives. The mystery of Liam's disappearance persisted for 9 long years, an open wound in the fabric of the Hocking Hills community. The picturesque landscape, once admired for its natural beauty, now carried an undertone of unresolved tragedy, a stark reminder of the boy it had seemingly claimed. Despite the cessation of active searches, the memory of the Boy Scout vanished at Hocking Hills in 2010 lingered, transforming into a local legend, a cautionary tale whispered around campfires and discussed in hushed tones. Periodically, the case would resurface in local news, often around the anniversary of his disappearance, sparking renewed, albeit brief, public remembrance and fresh appeals for information that never materialized. Without a body, without a single clue, the Hocking Hills held its secrets, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered prayers and a community forever marked by the inexplicable loss of a 12-year-old boy. The wilderness had proven itself a formidable, silent adversary, holding its victim captive in an enduring enigma. 9 years had passed since Liam O'Rourke vanished into the Hocking Hills wilderness, the landscape holding its secrets with an unyielding grip. The case, once a frantic, all-consuming search, had receded into the painful annals of local history, a cold file in police archives, a lingering ache in the community's memory. Then, in the late summer of 2019, an unexpected discovery shattered the long-held silence, reigniting a dormant hope that had long since faded into resignation. Deep within the Rock House Gorge, in a less frequented recess cave, a shallow, overhang-like cavity carved into the sandstone cliffs, a park visitor made a startling find. Tucked away, almost deliberately concealed behind a craggy, basalt-like slump, a dark, solidified mass of rock that had calved from the ceiling and settled against the back wall, lay 2 objects. The recess cave itself offered a degree of natural shelter, its cool, damp air preserving the items from the harshest elements. Carefully retrieved from their hidden spot were a folded topographical map, its paper brittle with age and bearing the faint, familiar outlines of the Hocking Hills trail system, and beside it, a small, anodized aluminum whistle, its metal dulled but otherwise intact. The significance of these items was immediate and chilling. The whistle, a universal emblem of a scout's emergency kit, and the detailed topographical map, a fundamental tool for navigation in the wilderness, instantly pointed to the missing tenderfoot. This was not random debris left by a careless hiker. These were personal effects, protected from the elements, suggesting a deliberate placement or an accidental burial in a secluded spot. The discovery provided the first tangible link to Liam O'Rourke in nearly a decade, pulling the boy's disappearance from the realm of unsolved mystery back into urgent reality. News of the find ripped through the quiet community like wildfire. For 9 long years, Liam O'Rourke's disappearance had been a ghost story, a cold case gathering dust, a source of unanswered prayers. Now, a spark of tangible evidence had ignited a dormant hope, sending shockwaves through the hearts of those who had long mourned an unknown fate. Authorities, who had all but closed the book on the case, swiftly mobilized. The Hocking Hills once again became the focal point of an intense investigation. But this time, there was a starting point, a physical thread to pull. The mystery of the vanished Boy Scout after 9 long years was no longer merely a memory. It was a live, active pursuit for answers, suddenly propelled forward by the most unexpected of discoveries. The discovery of Liam O'Rourke's topographical map and aluminum whistle breathed new life into the 9-year-old cold case, immediately triggering a renewed, intensive investigation. The items, once carefully retrieved from the recess cave, became the central focus of forensic scrutiny. Every surface, every crease, every minute particle adhering to the paper and metal underwent meticulous examination in a controlled laboratory environment. Specialists donned gloves, using microscopes and specialized lighting to search for any latent fingerprints, DNA traces, or microscopic fibers that might have been preserved. They meticulously documented the condition of the paper, the type of soil clinging to its folds, and any potential signs of struggle or deliberate manipulation. The hope was that these tangible clues, protected from the elements within the cave's shelter, could finally speak of Liam's last moments. Initial hypotheses swirled around the discovery. Was Liam seeking shelter from the sudden rain, perhaps injured, and intentionally placed his essential items in the recessed cave? Or had the items been lost accidentally, only to be washed into the secure spot over time? The deliberate concealment behind the basalt-like slump suggested a conscious act, prompting investigators to consider scenarios ranging from a desperate attempt to mark a location to the possibility of external involvement, though no evidence yet supported such a claim. The map, in particular, held immense potential. Unfolded with painstaking care, it was analyzed for any pencil markings, scrawled notes, or even subtle indentations that might indicate a path Liam had considered or taken. Investigators pored over the familiar contours of the Rock House Gorge, searching for any anomaly or clue that could redirect their search efforts within the complex trail system. To gain a deeper understanding of the discovery site, authorities enlisted the expertise of caver Diego Fuentes, a veteran spelunker and a geologist specializing in the unique karstic features of the Hocking Hills. Fuentes possessed an unparalleled knowledge of the region's subterranean networks. He meticulously assessed the recess cave, examining its geological structure, identifying potential water flow patterns, and studying the composition of the basalt-like slump. His objective was to determine if the items could have been deposited there by natural forces, or if their placement strongly suggested human intervention. Fuentes' insights into the interconnectedness of surface and subsurface environments would prove invaluable. Simultaneously, search dog handler Torre Nguyen, whose canine unit had tirelessly worked the initial search, was called back to the Hocking Hills. Despite the passage of 9 years, the sheltered environment of the recess cave offered a faint possibility that a scent, however subtle, might have been preserved. Her highly trained dog was brought to the precise location of the discovery, methodically working the cave and its immediate surroundings, seeking any indication that Liam had been there, or perhaps had moved beyond it. The hope was that a preserved trace scent could lead them out of the recess cave and onto a new, more definitive path. The meticulous forensic examination of Liam O'Rourke's topographical map, retrieved from the recess cave, yielded a critical piece of evidence that would irrevocably alter the course of the investigation. Under high magnification, forensic scientists identified minute particles of clay embedded within the folds of the paper. This was not ordinary surface soil. The specific composition of the clay matched that found in a seasonal seep, a small, intermittent trickle of water originating from higher ground, located just above the recess cave. This seemingly minor detail suggested a profound connection between the cave, the map, and the unseen hydrology of the Hocking Hills. Caver Diego Fuentes, whose expertise had been enlisted to assess the geological features of the discovery site, immediately recognized the significance of this finding. His deep understanding of the region's hydrogeology and subterranean cave systems allowed him to interpret the clay's presence not as incidental dirt, but as sediment carried by underground water flow. If the clay from the seasonal seep had reached the map, it meant the seep itself was connected to the recess cave, likely through a hidden conduit. This insight provided the first tangible clue to a potential path Liam might have taken, or been drawn into, beyond the visible landscape. Acting on Fuentes' hypothesis, investigators initiated a dye tracing operation, a specialized technique used to map underground water systems. A non-toxic, fluorescent dye was carefully introduced into the seasonal seep above the recess cave. The procedure required patience, as the dye's journey through the earth could be slow and unpredictable. Search teams, guided by Fuentes, meticulously monitored various fissures, cracks, and lower-lying water features across a wide area, hoping to detect the dye's reappearance. The Hocking Hills, with its complex network of interconnected sandstone and shale layers, made this a challenging endeavor. Yet the scientific precision of the method offered the most promising lead in years. After several tense days of observation, a faint, almost ethereal green luminescence was detected emerging from a previously unnoticed opening. It was not a grand cave entrance, but a small, almost imperceptible fissure obscured by a thick curtain of moss and dense undergrowth, located several hundred feet from the recessed cave and significantly lower in elevation. The dye had traveled, confirming an intricate hidden underground network. Followi. The dye's path, investigators with Fuentes leading the way, carefully navigated through the dense foliage to the source of the glow. There, they uncovered a narrow, winding crawl space, barely wide enough for a human to squeeze through. This subterranean passage, a natural pipe carved by millennia of water erosion, had been perfectly masked by years of fallen leaves and accumulated debris, rendering it invisible from the surface. The crawl led downward, deeper into the earth, culminating in a hidden sinkhole, a natural pit that had been completely concealed from above, a silent, natural trap. This was the breakthrough, the first concrete answer after 9 years, explaining how a young boy could vanish without a trace in the deceptive wilderness of Hocking Hills. The unearthing of the hidden crawl space and the concealed sinkhole represented a profound, albeit tragic, resolution to the 9-year mystery surrounding Liam O'Rourke's disappearance. After nearly a decade of agonizing uncertainty, the question of where the 12-year-old Boy Scout had vanished was finally answered. The Hocking Hills, with its deceptive beauty, had not simply swallowed Liam. It had concealed a natural, subterranean trap, a silent, unseen mechanism that explained how a child could disappear without a trace, just feet from a known trail. The intricate pathways of water, once a source of life, had carved a passage into the earth that ultimately proved fatal for a lost boy. For Liam's family, and for Scoutmaster Regina Park and the wider community, the discovery offered a critical measure of partial closure. While the ultimate fate of Liam O'Rourke remained a private anguish, the bewildering how and where of his vanishing had finally been laid bare. The unknown had given way to a grim, yet understandable, explanation. The wilderness had held its secret, but human perseverance, coupled with scientific investigation, had ultimately compelled it to reveal the truth of its hidden dangers. The case served as a stark and enduring lesson about the deceptive nature of the Hocking Hills wilderness. Its breathtaking gorges and picturesque trails, beloved by hikers and nature enthusiasts, concealed a complex, often perilous geology. The very forces that sculpted its beauty, water and erosion, also created the hidden sinkholes and subterranean passages that could transform a routine hike into a life-altering tragedy. The O'Rourke case underscored that even familiar landscapes harbor profound, unseen risks, reminding all who venture into them of nature's indifferent power. The legacy of the search for Liam O'Rourke became a testament to unwavering dedication and the relentless pursuit of truth. It was a story of individuals who refused to let a cold case gather dust indefinitely. Scoutmaster Regina Park's initial frantic calls and tireless coordination, search dog handler Tora Nguyen's meticulous efforts across the challenging terrain, and ultimately, caver Diego Fuentes' specialized expertise in interpreting the subtle clues of the Earth's hydrology, all converged to bring about this breakthrough. Their combined efforts, spanning nearly a decade, transformed an enduring enigma into a solvable puzzle. The discovery of the sinkhole provided not only an answer for Liam, but also a critical piece of knowledge about the Hocking Hills, forever altering the understanding of its beautiful, yet unforgiving, depths.